All right, everybody. Good morning. It's game day. First game day in a while for these Seahawks. Even though it is a preseason game, it is still game day. In 10 hours, the Seahawks will be kicking off a home preseason affair against the Minnesota Vikings. Should be real nice weather, 70 degrees, no real rain, not too hot, not too cold. Pretty much ideal football weather. So, what are we looking for tonight in this first preseason game? Well, first of all, we need to figure out who's going to be playing in this game. I would assume that you don't see a fair few veterans, and that goes for both sides, by the way. I can't find anything official or concrete from either side, Vikings, Seahawks. Neither side is giving away for sure who's playing and who's not playing. But on our side, it doesn't sound like we're going to see very much Geno, maybe no Geno at all. I don't know why you would put Lockett out there. I don't know why you would put Wagner out there for maybe more than a drive just so they can kind of go through the motions of getting ready for a game and then actually play like maybe 4 or 5 plays. You might see something like that, but that will probably be about it. Guys like Metcalf that have already established themselves in this league. Guys who you know what you're getting from those guys. Probably not going to see much from them. Guys who are still kind of on the fringe of the injured list like Witherspoon. I know it's not a serious injury, but you might not see him. Lewis just got back from an illness. Maybe he gets held out. Damian Lewis. I obviously don't expect to see somebody like a Derek Young because he's still coming back from an injury. Wouldn't expect Darrell Taylor. So there are going to be a fair few guys that we just don't get to see in this game. Not expecting Walker. Not really expecting McIntosh. And on the Vikings side, I don't think they need to see much from Kirk Cousins or Justin Jefferson or I think they still have Harrison Smith, right? He wasn't a cap casualty yet, was he? I think he's still there. So you're going to see a fair few veterans on both sides sit. So because of that, it's hard to totally know what you're going to get on either side. Like this Vikings team had a very good offense last year. They had probably the best receiver in the league in JJ. And they had I think, the worst defense in the league, probably. It was probably the worst defense in the league because they actually had something to play for and they were still that bad. You had defenses out there that were backing up awful offenses, and of course they would eventually get blown off the field because the offense that was supposed to support them was so bad. But the Vikings defense was just that bad even with a good offense. But that stuff may not be relevant at all when you take the field. So with that in mind, I think the important stuff to look for in a game like this is more general schematics, general philosophy, general concepts. Because the thing is, teams in recent years have started to implement more of their philosophies and game plans and strategies in the preseason because they have less practice time. Once upon a time, once teams met for training camp, all they did was practice. It was practice, practice, practice in the morning, practice in the afternoon, practice every day, 2-a-days. You don't see that stuff anymore. We don't do that anymore in the NFL. Players get days off. Players only practice, what is it now, 4 days a week, I think, in total? It's in the NFL CBA agreement. Players wanted less practice time. So because of that, you need to use your preseason time better. In the old days, it was just kind of a thing that you did. You would run through stuff. You wouldn't really do anything exotic or interesting because you got to do all the interesting stuff in practice and it wasn't really that big of a deal. Now, you don't have as much practice time. You need to utilize your preseason time better. So, because of that, I think the interesting stuff to look for in this game is what the team is doing on a more philosophical front. So, offensively, it may not be the starters. It might not be Geno. Probably going to see a lot of Drew Lock in this game. Drew Lock might play the whole game. That's possible. Might not see Metcalf. Might not see Lockett. Probably going to see JSN because he's a rookie and he needs to get out there and get these reps. But especially if there's any even tiny hint of a potential injury with these guys, like how Lockett missed the mock game and missed a day or two of practice because of an injury, you won't necessarily need to see those guys. But I want to see the philosophy start to unfold here because last year the Seahawks utilized 3 receiver sets less than most teams. I think they were like 6th fewest. They utilized 3 receiver sets. I mean, obviously the Ravens utilized it less than anybody else by far. But of the non-Ravens teams, the Seahawks were very close to the bottom. And then this offseason, you bring in a guy like JSN, a guy who was made to play in the slot in the NFL. So logic says you're going to start using those 3 receiver sets more. But is that actually going to happen? Or is that just something that makes sense in our heads and it doesn't translate to the field? You will start to see stuff like that in a game like this. Regardless of who is playing, you're going to start to see the playbook. You're going to start to see the formations. So that's going to be one of the things that I'm really looking for tonight. Are we going to see a lot of 3 receiver sets, a lot of that 11 personnel, and expand the offense out from what we saw last season? So that's number 1. Number 2, similar thing on the defensive side of the ball. Last year, I'll tell you, there's a little bit of mixed messaging out there about the Seahawks defense last season. PFF will tell you that we used zone defense more than most teams. I think it was like 3rd most. Aaron Schatz actually said we utilized man defense a lot, like almost half the time. 2 very contradictory pieces of information. Me and the Hawks Nest actually talked about this a couple days ago on stream, and he said it was because of the match man stuff where it kind of looks like zone, but then you have a guy like Woolen actually running man, so the same play kind of looks like man and zone at the same time. So possibly it's possible that PFF and Aaron Schatz are just getting their wires crossed because they're evaluating those same plays differently for zone versus man purposes. But either way, with the changes this team made this offseason, drafting Witherspoon, and I know Witherspoon probably won't play tonight, but it doesn't matter. It's a philosophical change. Julian Love, bringing in Julian Love. Even though we won't have Jamal Adams out there, I'm sure, tonight. I mean, there's no way he's out there, but it's about the overall philosophy. Are we going to see more man defense? Are we going to see more blitzing? Are we going to see the kinds of things that fit in well, that slot in well with the players that we acquired? Devin Witherspoon is a man corner. He is a man corner maestro. Tariq Woolen, I know we had him last year, but either way, that's a man corner. He is better in man than in zone. Julian Love comes from the Giants last year, who blitz a ton and run man more than almost anybody. And Jamal Adams, also better in man than zone. We have put together a team that is better in man defense than zone defense. And I know a lot of the players that make that up won't be out there. But again, it's about the philosophy that you're trying to implement. And that's going to hopefully hold true even if some of these guys aren't out there. Because guess what? Some of the guys will be out there. JSN will be out there. I think Julian Love will probably be out there. I don't know why he wouldn't be. I think you're going to also see... Woolen won't be out there yet. But you're going to see some of the guys. You're definitely going to see some of them. So you want to start implementing what you're going to do in the regular season now. And the way I see it, those are the main things to look out for. So that's what to watch for tonight. Other than that, I want to see our long snapping. Again, I am very mindful of the fact that we have a UDFA rookie as a long snapper. And so far, looks like it's going good. But I want to see it for myself to make sure we don't need to go out and get a veteran. Sounds good so far. Let's see what happens tonight. That's the main stuff. That's honestly what I'm just going to say for now. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think down below. That is what I want to see tonight.